New Tool Day Tuesday, where I share with you guys unique or useful tools that I myself use that I think you might be interested in. Today we're going to be talking about a headlamp, and I use headlamps all the time. In fact, my go-to has been the Sofern headlamp, and this is what I keep in my service truck. I keep seeing advertisements for this particular one. It's called the NightBuddy, and it's a 230-degree headlamp. Inside the box, you're going to find the headband itself and a USB-C charging cable. The packaging shows a few features, and those features are really the only reason I bought this particular headlamp. I really wanted to try it and see if it was all that. It does have a red light mode, and this isn't the first headband that I've had with a red light. This particular one, it's labeled 77 outdoor, but I think it's actually made by Sofern. It also has a red light. The red light isn't as harsh. It doesn't reflect and bounce around like white light, so when you need some low light conditions, it works really well. And I also like to put this on red light dim when it's really buggy out. The red light, at least for me, seems not to attract as many bugs as the bright white light does. Another feature that caught my attention was the wave sensor. If you wave your hand by the headlamp, it will turn itself on and off. You don't have to actually touch that headlamp. This is great if you're a mechanic and you have really greasy hands. You're not going to dirty up your headband. You just wave your hand by it and it'll turn it on, and you wave it by it again and it'll turn it off. And the last feature that caught my attention is it says zero bounce. Headlamps such as these that protrude away from your forehead a little bit and have a little bit of weight, well, they bounce around as you're moving and trying to get your work done. But with this just being a band that wraps around your forehead, well, it broadcasts light everywhere. It's not heavy, it's not going to bounce, and it should flood out pretty nice. Off to the side of the headlamp, which is pretty much going to be right around your temple or right above your ear, is a more directional light. Operation of the headband is very simple. There is only two buttons. There is a power button and a motion on or motion off button. To turn the headband on, you press the power button. And every time you press the power button, it goes through a different mode of operation. Now, once you find the mode of operation that you want to use, if you want to make that motion activated, you go ahead and press the motion activated button. What this allows you to do is to turn it on and off just by taking your hand and waving it over the device. And this motion activated sensor works on any mode. It is a stretchy headband, but it is also fully adjustable. So if you have a peanut head, well, you can crank it down and make it fit. And if you have a big noggin like me, you can loosen it up and it's still going to be comfortable. But the question is, how well does it work? Well, we're going to find out. So I think to give it a fair review, what we will do is put this headband on like it is now. I've turned off all of the lights in my shop, and I'm just kind of looking around on my workbench, and there is plenty of light for me to work. It's flooding out quite nicely. Going through the modes of operation, you can see we can dim the light, we can turn it red, and then we also have this little spotlight on the side, which works really well. Now, I'm currently in my backyard. It is really dark outside, and the only thing illuminating this tractor is the headband, and it is on flood mode. And here is spot mode. I'm sweeping my head left to right so you can see just how sharp that spot is. Right now, we're just walking around the backyard, and you can kind of see how far the light is projecting. It doesn't project very far, maybe about 30 feet or so. It is enough to navigate, but it certainly isn't like having a really good flashlight on hand. If we change the mode to spot, that little flashlight on the side, you can see it projects pretty well. We can see pretty far out there. Nowhere on the box could I find run times. So if I can find those run times, I'll put them down below in the description. Now, because of the different lights and the different brightnesses, those run times would vary depending on how you're using this headband. So what are my final thoughts of the NightBuddy? Well, I kind of like it. I like the fact that it's lightweight. It doesn't have this big honking light hanging off your forehead that's bouncing around. And I really appreciate the fact that you could turn it on and off without even touching it just by waving your hand over the motion sensor. The cons that I find, well, it's not super bright, and that may not be a problem depending on what you're using this headband for. This seems to be very adequate if you're up and close, like working on an engine or something like that. But I think if you're hunting or fishing, there's probably better options. The spotlight on the side does kind of help with those limitations a little bit. Something else worth noting, if you're wearing this on your head and you have a pair of glasses on like I did when I was using this, well, I was getting some glare on my right lens from the flashlight because it's behind your glasses when it's on. Now, those cons don't mean it's not a great light. I really like it. I think it was well thought out, and for a work light, I think it'll be great. As always, I will provide a link in the description in case you're interested in purchasing one of these. If you like these types of videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take a look at some of my other videos. At the very least, you might be entertained.